Could Joao Pedro finally be the one to break the striker's curse with him taking the number 9 shirt for the upcoming season? And we have the list of every single number given out to every single player in the Chelsea first team this season. Mamadou Sarr is attracting interest from Europe for a loan deal, but also a permanent deal in Saudi Arabia. Tosin Adarabioyo has no less than 4 current suitors, 3 of them being European and 1 a Premier League club. It's a tussle between Spurs and Al Hilal for Pedro Neto. David Washington's move to Strasbourg has been confirmed to be a permanent deal, and onlookers are concerned that Chelsea's bomb squad have returned with players training away from the first team squad, but Chelsea have moved quickly to ensure onlookers that this is not the case. Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of the Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. And man, when it rains, it pours. We have got a lot of stuff to get into today. There is news coming out of the wazoo. This may well be a very long video, but I will try my best to keep it concise. But with all of that being said, let's have a little look at what's going on in the world of Chelsea today. Right, so, mate, let's just get into it. We're going to start off with some crazy news. Breaking, Joao Pedro will wear the number 9 shirt this season. That is posted by Pice via Chelsea FC. So Chelsea FC have released all of the squad numbers for the season. We are going to rattle through them very quickly after this. But guys, we've got to talk about this. Joao Pedro has elected to take the number 9 shirt. Whoa, this goes one of two ways, doesn't it? This can literally only go one of two ways. We either have confirmation that the curse is real because Joao Pedro, after scoring 7 goals in pre-season and absolutely smashing it, especially at the back end of last season, if he goes on to have a bad season, then the curse is real and we need to burn the number 9 shirt, we need to retire it, and we just need to get rid of it completely. But also, if Joao Pedro, as well as he should, backs himself to go on and have a phenomenal season, especially the form he's in at the moment, it could be over. The number 9 shirt curse could literally be over. Oh, mate. Do you know what? I'm not a particularly superstitious guy, but you just got to look at the list of players that have worn the shirt in the last decade in particular. But it's been such a problem for such a long time. But I love this. Joao Pedro, not superstitious, backing himself to break that curse. So with that being said, let's have a little look at the squad numbers that we've got so far. So some of these are interesting and indicative that certain players are going to be involved with the first team going forward. Some not so much, and we'll get into those as we go. So number 1, Robert Sanchez. Number 2, Marco Palestra. 3, Wesley Fofana. 4, Valentin Barco. 5, Maxence Lacroix. And 6, Levi Colwill. So just quickly, the interesting things there instantly are Valentin Barco and Wesley Fofana taking the numbers 3 and 4. That is indicative that they are going to remain with the squad. I know a lot of people have been like, get Fofana out or Valentin Barco needs a loan. Evidently that's not going to happen because they've been, look, it's not an absolute 100% that they won't go anywhere, do you know what I mean? But at the same time, getting these kind of numbers are quite indicative that you're going to be involved with the first team squad. Carrying on, number 7, Pedro Neto. So instantly, that was his number before though, that's the thing. I still do believe that Pedro Neto might go somewhere, but he hasn't been given this number. He's retained it. Same for Enzo Fernandez with number 8. Joao Pedro has taken the number 9. Cole Palmer has taken the number 10. And Jamie Gittins has taken the number 11. So I found that one quite interesting. Moving on, we also have at number 12, Liam Delap. 14 for Jordan Henderson. 15 for Nicholas Jackson. 16 for Dario Essugo. 17 for Morgan Rogers. 18 for Danny Welbeck. 19 for Mamadou Sarr. 21 for Yoro Hato. 22 for Emmanuel Omega, 23 for Giovanni Kenda, 24 for Reece James, 25 for Moises Caicedo, 27 for Malo Gusto, 28 for Teddy Sharman-Lowe, 29 for Pep Javadia, 30 for Aaron Anselmino, 31 for Reggie Watson, 32 for Mardi Nicole Jazuli, 33 for Mikhailo Mudryk, 34 for Josh Achampong, 37 for Tayo Subaloy, 38 for Mr. Tosin Adarabioyo, 39 for Mike Penders, 41 for Esteval Willian, 44 for Gaga Slanina, and 45 for Romeo Lavia. So in general, so a lot of those are the same as last season. The big ticket changes there. I say if we just roll this back a second and go back onto that first page. So like I say, Wesley Fofana and Valentin Barco, that does seem indicative to me that they're going to get some opportunity. I think it's interesting. Jamie Gittins has been given the number 11. That would lead me to think that he's probably almost definitely going to stick around too. But as we move on, you can see throughout the list that obviously 24 for Reece James, like that's just his number, isn't it? So that's not really a big change there. But there's some other players that you know are going to be involved in the first team squad, the likes of, for instance, he was at the end, Esteval Willian, 41, Romeo Lavia, 45, that's his number. Tosin Adarabioyo had been given the 38 because he used to wear the number 4. So Valentin Barco's been given that number, which again for me is an indication that he might stay. And if we just go back one, on this page, obviously we've got a couple of loan players here, but Reggie Watson is being linked with a move away to Wigan. I can't remember, I saw it today, literally a championship loan. Jazuli probably going to stick around, Subaloy may well stick around. Joshua Champong's taken the 34. So it's not like, it's just one of those things, isn't it? It's not like, oh yeah, you know, this definitely means that every player is going to stay. But I do think it's, like I say, the ones that really stood out to me there were number 3 for Wesley Fofana and number 4 for Valentin Barco, especially Valentin Barco, as there's just been question marks about him for the whole time. And a lot of people have been saying, loan him out, he's not ready for the Premier League yet. But Xabi Alonso has clearly seen something that he likes. So guys, let me know what you think about, first and foremost, the most important one here, the only one that really matters, to be completely honest, is Joao Pedro has taken the number 9 shirt. Absolutely wild stuff, but what do you think of the rest of the numbers? Do you think there's any little secrets, hints, or answers to mysteries in there about what the squad's going to look like next season? Let me know what you think in the comments. And guys, if you have made it this far into today's episode of the Stamford Sync, please do me the distinct honour of liking and sharing the video, subscribe to the channel, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. Right, so let's get back into the news, and it's transfers galore. It feels like things are really starting to happen, and we're going to start with Mamadou Sarr. Some interesting stuff about Mamadou Sarr. Chelsea Dodgers posted this via Nazar Kinsella. Real Sociedad want Mamadou Sarr on loan, and Al Hilal are looking at a permanent deal for him. So, really interesting there. So the loan seems to make the most sense, albeit Chelsea quite specifically wanted to get Mamadou Sarr a Premier League loan. That was the noise that's been coming out this kind of whole time. But if there are no Premier League clubs that are coming in with loan offers for him, then it doesn't really matter at the end of the day, does it? If there's no loans there, there's no loans there. Real Sociedad are interested in taking him. I think he'd probably do. It would be an interesting loan, because I would argue that Real Sociedad is a step up from Strasbourg, at least. Spain is definitely a marginal step up from Italy in terms of quality, so it would be a different challenge, maybe an improved challenge for him, so he could go and develop. The interesting thing really here, though, is the permanent deal from Al Hilal. I'm not sure how I feel about this one at all. 20 mil, I think we've spent on him. So he's barely kicked a ball for us, to be completely honest. We obviously ripped him away. So we bought him from Strasbourg. He featured once, maybe twice in the Club World Cup for cursory minutes. And then we sent him back to Strasbourg. And then in January, we ripped him back and sent Anselmino out there as well. So I think if Al Hilal buy him, it's going to be because they've spent some cash. Do you know what I mean? It's going to have to be like 30 to 40 mil for a Mamadou Sarr, because otherwise there's just literally no point. Do you know what I mean? At this point, he's still only 20 years old, 21 years old, like really, really young. There's a lot of potential there, really good passer. There's interest in loans to, you know, a Real Sociedad loan would probably be quite interesting. And he could still develop into a good player, and there's maybe opportunities for him to get into the first team in the future if he develops well. So I don't see Al Hilal coming in with like a 20-25 mil bid and getting that over the line, because at that point, you might as well just keep him. If you're making insignificant profit, if we are left without any option, I mean, look, he could stay, I guess. He could possibly stay and get cursory minutes. It would be better for him to go out on loan, I think. But if Al Hilal come in with a big bid, 30 to 40 million pounds or euros, yeah, anything north of 30 mil, then at least you're making some sort of half decent profit on him. But I don't think it's worth it if we don't, if they come in with like 20-25 mil. I think the profit's negligible, and at that point you may as well just loan him out and see where he develops. So guys, let me know what you think about that one in the comments. But we're going to move on, sticking with centre backs. We're going to talk about Uncle Tosin Adarabioyo. Pies posted this via Sky Sports Lyle. Chelsea are ready to listen to bids for Tosin, who also has interest from Benfica, Marseille and Sevilla. Why? It's just the question. You know, it's just one of those, isn't it? Like, you know, I feel the same about Axel Disasi and Benoit Badiashile. Obviously, Benoit Badiashile's got himself a fantastic loan out to Napoli. Axel Disasi seems to court interest from a lot of clubs, albeit no one seems to be willing to ever pull the trigger. And now Tosin Adarabioyo is getting interest from Champions League clubs, you know, at least Europa League clubs, high-level European clubs. And that is not all, people. Tosin Adarabioyo also has interest from Aston Villa, because they've just sold Ezri Konsa to Arsenal, right? So now they're like, oh, we need a centre-back. So, you know what, maybe Axel Disassi's one to watch there as well, because he'd already played under Unai Emery and had a relatively decent loan spell at Aston Villa before, so maybe there's something in that. But as of right now, Sky Sports Lyle is saying that Aston Villa are interested in bringing in Tosin Adarabioyo as a replacement for Konsa. So look, are we just about to see a four-way bidding war for Uncle Tosin Adarabioyo after every Chelsea fan screaming to the high heavens to get him out after last season and pre-season? Crazy stuff, man. Crazy stuff. Look, this part of the window is where everyone starts to lose their heads. Me included. Do you know what I mean? Me included. The tinfoil hats come out. Everyone is all starting to panic because the league's just about to start. The window's going to shut in imminently, and these deals can take a long time to get over the line. There's going to be negotiation to be done. The very interesting thing about Tosin is we got him on a free transfer. I think he's got 2 years left on his deal, and anything we make for him will be pure profit. So look, 10 to 15 mil felt like a reasonable sort of idea, because we haven't seen a valuation for Tosin yet either, to be completely honest, which I do find interesting. But 10 to 15 mil, I'd be like, yeah, wicked, because it's just on the books, isn't it? But with 4 clubs being interested in him, mate, can you imagine if we ended up getting like 20, 25 mil for Tosin on for pure book profit of a player that we are absolutely desperate to get rid of? 4 clubs are interested in him. Wild stuff, man. Absolutely wild stuff. Today is going nuts. So, guys, let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Uncle Tosin, I'll just roll that one back quickly so I can remember the first 3. Tosin Adarabioyo has interest from Benfica, Marseille, Sevilla, and Aston Villa. Crazy stuff. Let me know what you think. Moving on, Chelsea Dodgers posted this via Fabrizio Romano when he was on Give Me Sport via the Spurs Watch. I think it's between Spurs and Al Hilal for Pedro Neto. Bidding war incoming for Pedro Neto. Have they not just signed Savinho though? Did they not get the Savinho deal over the line? I know that he hasn't been featuring even in the matchday squads in pre-season or the Community Shield for Man City. I thought that maybe I haven't seen it. Here we go, but I thought I'd seen like deal agreed, money agreed. So maybe that's not happening. Maybe it's just too much money. Also, Pedro Neto as of right now has retained his number 7 shirt, as well. So Chelsea are still kind of being like, yeah, cool, we're happy to keep him. He's been really, really good in the last 2 pre-season games as well. I'm not convinced, and in and around this, by the way, I've already talked about it the other day, but there's still this idea that we think that, or Chelsea think that Pedro Neto is worth up to 100 mil based on all of the other stuff that's going on in the market at the moment. So, God, I'm not really sure how to feel about all of this, man. Not really sure how to feel about all of this. Like, I won't be sad to see Pedro Neto go. I also wouldn't be unhappy if we kept him. I think he's a good player with something to offer, and I think he'd probably get minutes, albeit someone's going to miss out if Pedro Neto stays. Because I don't think Kenda's going to bench him, do you know what I mean? Or maybe by the end of the season, but definitely not imminently. And he seems to be playing that wing-back role really well because of his defensive astuteness, right? So I'd rather see him go to Al Hilal than Spurs, but also for a 25, 26-year-old player, it's like you want to see them in Europe and stuff, do you know what I mean? And I guess it's one of those. I wouldn't necessarily rather sell him to a rival, but to be fair, Saudi Arabia are getting younger players. Like, they obviously got Crescencio Somerville. Earlier, they're younger. They're obviously looking at Ollie Watkins now, but they're, he's like 30 something. But still, they do seem to be, at the beginning, it was all really old, but older players that are kind of in the twilight of their careers, and they do seem to be going for a lot more players now. So maybe this is a pointed kind of move from Saudi Arabia to try and up the relevancy of the players that they're going for, rather than just being like, this guy's at the end of his career, so we'll give him a few years here and give him a load of money. Notably, they didn't go in for Mo Salah, for instance, but they're still willing to spend like 80 mil on on the likes of Crescencio Somerville, and potentially up to 100 million pounds on Pedro Neto. Mate, if Spurs spend 100 million pounds on Pedro Neto, a round of applause. That wasn't a round of applause. This is a round of applause. If Spurs spend 80 mil plus on Pedro Neto, that'd be absolutely wild. And like I say, for me, that's interesting because I thought the Savinho thing had pretty much come to a conclusion, albeit I'm not sure if I've seen the Here We Go yet. So let me know if you've seen anything about that in the comments. But either way, Pedro Neto also is being linked to lots of different clubs. We know how he's already agreed the personal terms of Al Hilal. We haven't had any club-to-club contacts or even club-to-agent or agent-to-player contacts with Spurs yet, so we'll have to see what happens with that over the next few days, but very interesting nonetheless. We move on. Short one here. Chelsea Dodgers posted this via Cyril Olives. Justin David Washington to Strasbourg will be a permanent deal. So that's interesting because we reported on this last night, and the noise in and around it was that it was a loan deal. If it's a permanent deal, I hope they disclose how much it is, because we still don't know how much we paid for Emmanuel Omega, and there's been something knocking around to say that we spent about 30 to 40 mil on Barco, but still nothing like absolutely concrete. We spent £17 million on David Washington, so in order for us to at least break even if they amortise his contract, they're going to have to pay like 15 at least, something like that. I don't think it'll be a profit sale. And to be fair, Strasbourg doing all right. They've just sold Diego Moreira for 60 mil, I think it is, to AC Milan, so they've got some money knocking around at the moment. But this one kind of makes sense, in terms of like we need to get him out of the squad, and we lose that amortised fee in the squad cost ratio. It's not a huge amount, but every little helps. And he needs to go and get some football because he barely got out of the academy. Do you know what I mean? And I think he's like getting towards 20 now. So David Washington to Strasbourg on a permanent deal, guys. Let me know what you think. We move on. So we're going to talk a little bit about the bomb squad, because there has been some concern to say that the bomb squad might be coming back. Chelsea Dodgers posted this via Matt Law from the Daily Times. DT? Daily Times? Is it Daily Times? I don't know. Liam Delap and Nicholas Jackson are part of a group of players training separately from Xabi Alonso's first team squad. Chelsea have ripped up the club's old bomb squad approach by allowing the second group, which is as large as 12 players some days, to train at the same time as Alonso's main group and on the same pitches. So it makes sense at the moment. We've got lots of players. Like, saw that list, do you know what I mean? It's like we need a 25-man squad, and there's like plus 30 plus players there, do you know what I mean? Like, getting towards 40 players on that list. So it makes sense that there's a lot of players that can't all train together at the moment, because the first game is in 5 days. Do you know what I mean? We're talking literally Monday. Do you know what I mean? The first game is on Monday. Monday Night Football, Chelsea versus Fulham. Xabi Alonso has to be training with his first team squad at the moment, and unfortunately he needs to be quite brutal in the respect of being like, I cannot afford to be training 40 players at the moment when we've got this going on. But the problem with the old bomb squad method is it created bad vibes. Do you know what I mean? It created really, really, really bad vibes. So albeit there might be some sort of fear that the bomb squad is returning, there's another piece of news to indicate that that's probably not the case. Chelsea Dodgers posted this. Chelsea sources are quick to stress this is not a so-called bomb squad like previous seasons in Blue Coat's tenure, and it is emphasised by Jordan Henderson and Danny Welbeck's inclusion in the group. Instead, it is a mixed group of players training away from Xabi Alonso's senior squad at Cobham. So this kind of makes it make more sense, right? Because we do have a lot of players to get rid of, but what this could be is going forward, like, okay, Xabi Alonso needs to work with the players that he's going to be taking into the next week's game, whatever that is going to be. And some of the players maybe he is identifying as not being necessary. Maybe some players need to train for fitness, or, that are coming back from injury or something like that. And also it's an opportunity to bring more academy players into those sessions as well, not to train with the first team, but at least adjacent to them, which kind of brings the whole thing together. And the fact that Jordan Henderson and Danny Welbeck have been included in this group, I think, is massive, because this is going to this is part of the reason they were brought in, right? Because if this was all just young players that were worried about their futures, then the toxicness might start to, kind of breed from it. But when you're putting Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson in there, and they're going to be chilled, they're going to be the leaders of that group, they're going to help keep everything tempered, calm, and under control, and make sure that the manager's instruction is getting across to the separate group as well as the first group that he's working with at the time. And look, this is going to be difficult because of Chelsea's player trading model that we love to buy millions of players. Having lots of players like this is an issue, do you know what I mean? But it is going to be the case that a lot of these players, some of them already aren't training, but you've got the likes of Liam Delap and Nicholas Jackson, look like they're not going to be part of the first team next season, and they're probably going to get sold. Nicholas Jackson, I think, Aston Villa on deadline day. There's a lot of talk about Liam Delap at the moment. Como were interested in a loan. Nottingham Forest have sold a striker, so might be looking at him as well. You can't just stop them from training, and you also need to anticipate the idea that they may not be there. Now, I do not think, albeit we are getting dangerously close to deadline day, and we've still got a lot of players to get rid of, I think we're going to be fine. I do not think that we are going to have loads and loads and loads of players in this supposed bomb squad sort of thing. And any players that do remain, like over the threshold of the players that Xabi Alonso wants to work with for the next game are going to train in this squad, and we're already seeing Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson in this group. So I do think that's important. And like I say, Jordan Henderson is coming back from an injury and needs to get up to speed, so it makes sense he's not training with the first team yet. Danny Welbeck, if I remember rightly, wasn't even on the bench for the Real Sociedad game in pre-season, so potentially maybe he's had like a knock or something, and he's like kind of getting himself back up to fitness as well. Or maybe right now he's just not in the immediate plans of Xabi Alonso when it comes to the Fulham game. Either way, there is a separate group, and the two experienced leadership options that we've brought in are also part of that group. Xabi Alonso is the leader of the main team, so he can keep everything under control there. Having the likes of Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson around these other guys, to, you know, some of them know that they're going to be on their way out. Some of them might be young kids. Some of them might not be sure what's going on in their futures. Either way, we've got two very experienced leadership figures there now to kind of help temper it all, right? So I hope this isn't a return to the bomb squad, because it's not good for anyone, man. It's not good for the players in the bomb squad. It's not good for any onlooking players being like, oh, if I don't perform, that could be me next. Do you know what I mean? It's not a good proposition for squad harmony and good squad building at the end of the day. And it's not good for the manager either, because it makes the manager's job harder knowing that all of the guys are worried about going into the bomb squad. Do you know what I mean? So really, really interesting stuff. But guys, I want to know what you think about it. Like I say, for me, it makes sense, especially when you look at the fact that Danny Welbeck and Jordan Henderson have been put in there as well. I do think it makes sense. So the bomb squad. Guys, tell me what you think. And we are going to wrap the video up there, but I want to know what you think about everything that we have talked about today, and that's quite a long list. And the list is as follows. Joao Pedro has taken the number 9 shirt. He's taken the curse on his back and he's looking to break it. We've got the full list of squad numbers. I want to know if you think there's any hidden secrets in there. Mamadou Sarr, Real Sociedad want him on a loan. Al Hilal looking at a permanent deal for him. I think that's a little bit wild if we sell him already, but if they come in with a big bid, then kind of makes sense. Tosin Adarabioyo is wanted by everyone. Benfica, Marseille, Sevilla and Aston Villa are all interested. There's potentially a tug of war going to go on between Spurs and Al Hilal. David Washington has gone to Strasbourg on a permanent deal, not a loan, and the bomb squad looks like there is a version of it returning, but hopefully it is just a method for Xabi Alonso to be able to work with the team that's building up to Fulham, whilst dealing with the players that have uncertain futures, and players like Jordan Henderson, Danny Welbeck, that are experienced heads, and, you know, like I said, people that want to come back from injury or return to fitness or whatever it is. So let me know what you think about that in the comments as well, because that's a little bit of a scary one. But guys, thanks very much for sticking around until the end of the video. If you did, I will catch up with you all very, very soon. Take it easy. Peace.